Hi, we talk about the best sound trousers of the best movies that have been measured on samples of favorite movies. Like Training the Dragon 2010, Powell's loud percussion has worked so well musicians, especially in animation films, from the factory DreamWorks SKA, managed to create an epic score which it is fall on them to highlight the sequence of first flight on of the best surprise of 2010, and I received the IFMCA award for best soundtrack and one Oscar nomination.
Ang Lee returns to his fetish composer for these fantastic adventures full of mystic and ethic sound that works perfectly with the film. It's accompanied by a beautiful song called Peace Globally. That song in the initial credits is on to co-written by the Indian artist Bombay Biarashi, winner of the Oscar and Islam War.
Maleficent 2014 on it was much easier to find good stories, sci-fi, adventure or fantasy movies. Today there are scars on the bimestral level. That's why it was a surprise to find this majestic soundtrack that brings us back to the best orchestral soul on the 80s and 90s with romantices to a style beloved by James Horner.
I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. I know you, that gleam in your eyes is so familiar a gleam, and I know it's true that visions are seldom all they seem. But if I know you, I know what you'll do. You'll love me at once, the way you did once upon a dream.
Romeo and Juliet 2013, the instead composed with James Horner, whose music was rejected and replaced by Abel Korzeniowski, who had very little time to compose this new version of the William Shakespeare's classic, an exquisite romantic soundtrack with a classic style that began to be scarred in the current cinema and winner of the FMCA Award for the Best Original Soundtrack.
Star Wars: The Awakening Force, 2015. Williams recovers his most famous creation and prevails against that he is the only one able to explain the universe of Star Wars. John Williams spent little time with homage or fake nostalgia and give us a new amount of themes and motifs that relieves film music. It highlights the theme of Rich, protagonist of the new trilogy, and which receives one of the best themes.
Tomorrowland 2015, Giacchino develops a sound panorama in which imagination abounds. It has action, it has adventure, it has fantasy. A waste of creativity that does not forget the dramatic density of his proposal. This sequence in which Casey catches the pin and enters the universe of Tomorrowland is one of the best sequences of the soundtrack in recent times.
Wonderful review of the classic soundtrack by Georgi Brunos, whose notes even upped the feel. John Favreau was very successful in considering his usual composure for production and the result is great. The venue is not that is still the smooth melodic composer with an elegant music that films that accompanies. It's true that high scores may recall melodies of George Goldsmith or which develops in this style the most classic soundtrack.
La La Land, 2016. Damien Chazelle, with his features compositor Justin Hurtix, performed a score on the series of original songs inspired by classic musical such as American in Paris, The Charbonne Umbrellas, Create Another Day of Sun, and more songs on the film.
I left him at a Greyhound station west of Santa Fe. We were 17, but he was sweet and it was true. Still, I knew what I had to do, 'cause I just knew. Summer Sunday nights, we'd sink into our seats right as they dimmed out all the lights. A technicolor world made out of music and machine. It called me to be on that screen and live inside each scene.
The Return of Mary Poppins 2018 difficult task had Mark Shaiman and his lyrics Scott Whitman to take over the sequel to Mary Poppins almost 50 years later. Thanks were, as everyone remembers, the beautiful songs of the Sherman Brothers and the orchestrations of Irving Costal of the originals, but fortunately the elections of Mark Shaiman was a success.
Oh, a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book.
Mary Poppins, could you give us an example?
Certainly. Nelly Rubina was made of wood, but what could not be seen was though her trunk up top was barren. Well, her roots were lush and green. So in spring, when Mr. Hickory saw her blossoms blooming there, he took root despite her bark, and now there's seedlings everywhere.
Which proves that cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. 'Cause under the covers one discovers that the king may be a crook. Chapter titles are like signs,
And if you read between the lines,
you'll find your first impression was mistook. Oh, a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book.
The War of the Planet of the Apes, 2017. For the closing of the last trilogy of the saga of the Apes, Hino composed a very dramatic soundtrack that reflects Caesar's cheers for his place in the world as women destroy his dreams and hopes.